Hey, my friend DK here. Welcome to the channel. The question here is myEcon the best network marketing compensation plan out there? I guess we'll see. If you watch this video all the way through, I'm going to take you through and you can see it for yourself. Is this compensation plan what you're looking for? Is this the best that's out there? And I'm going to take you through each of these. And what you see on your screen right here is an overview. And I'm going to break down each of these aspects here and let you know how you can get paid, when you get paid, how all this stuff works. So, what's up? If you're new to the channel here, my name is Daniel. I'm a CEO Infinity with myEcon. Been with the company since 2018. And one of the things that I do is I study compensation plans. And I've been part of multiple different types of compensation plans, matrix, binary, unilevel, all of those sort of things. So we're going to talk about that a little bit in this video and kind of break down what you need to know about compensation plans and when you're making a decision to either, maybe move a team or get started with something, or, what are the pay possibilities for you? How much can you make? And is it worth it to dive into, any particular compensation plan? So let me break this one down for you. And again, this is myEcon. This is a financial success company. They focus on products and services that help you make and save more money. myEcon is just short for My Economy. Okay. So first off, I'll go through the three different lines with you. Now, this compensation plan is a unilevel. And one of the things I like about having a unilevel is it pays down to infinity. So the cool thing about that is, unlike something like a binary where you always have a strong side and a weak side, and if your strong side is ginormous and huge, which has happened to me and other companies, but your weak side doesn't grow the way that you want it to, you're only making money off of the weak side. So no matter how big your team gets, your income can still be limited. Matrices can be good, especially when you have a forced matrix, if, and this is a big if there is compression in that matrix. Now, most matrices that I've seen and I've been part of do not have compression. They leave holes, people quit, people cancel, and then you have the holes, and then you have what's called breakage. And when there's breakage, the company makes money. The affiliates or the distributors don't make money. The company makes money, which, is all part of the grand scheme of things when it comes to, having a profitable company. And I've also had a matrix where, it was a 12, it was a 3 by 12 matrix, and I had a huge team beyond my 12th level, but it never really got compressed back up. And I never made money on the team that grew, from my 13th level on down. So matrices can be good if they get filled the right way, but there's a lot of variables with a matrix. Also, you have to look at the percentage of residual that you get, and the ones I've seen recently in recent days, especially here on my channel, you're getting a 2.5% residual in the matrix, which turns out to be 50 cents, which again is really peanuts in the grand scheme of things. So let's break this compensation plan down, and you can be the judge and you can decide for yourself. So there's three different ways to earn here. And I know other compensation plans, I got 5 ways to earn or 6 ways to earn. Let me explain to you sometimes why simple is better. At least that's how I see it. So I'm going to try to take my opinion out of this and just give you basic data so you can understand it. Okay. So you have 4 different levels that you could join at. Okay. You have $24.95, $44.95, $59.95, or $99.95. Now, with each of those, you get either a $15, $35, or $70 direct commission. Those get paid out to you every single Friday. That averages out to be about 70% direct commissions. When you look at the rest of the industry out there, some companies have 20% direct commissions, 25, even 50%. I think for a company to pay out 70% direct commissions is fantastic. And I'm going to show you there's a current promotion going on right now, a 6-month-long promotion. I'll explain that a little bit when I get there, about getting additional commissions, paying you even more money for your direct commission. So I'll explain that in a little bit. Okay, so number 2 is when your team grows. So line number 1 is when you personally sponsor. Number 2 is when your team grows. This is a 100% transactional compensation plan. And I probably should have mentioned that from the beginning. It's important to know and understand this, which means that anytime there's someone for you on your team, whenever a transaction happens, whether it's a renew, they buy a product or service, whatever it is, you earn money. You earn a percentage. You earn a commission anytime there's a transaction on your team. That is for me, very, very powerful. So it's a 100% transactional compensation plan. Now, anytime your team grows, meaning someone on your second, third, fourth, 10th, 1,000th level sponsors someone, you're going to get between $1 and a $10 override. Now, again, that goes down to infinity. So think about the possibilities as you do this for months or even years. As your team's growing, every time it does, you're going to earn money. Okay. Those two lines there, lines one, line two, those get paid out every single Friday. Okay. So it just pays weekly. Now, line number three is my favorite, which is that's your residual overrides. That gets paid out on the first Friday of every single month. And every single person on your team paid down through infinity, you can get between $1 and a $13 override. And now these overrides are based on your rank. And I'm going to go through the ranks here in a minute. Okay. The beautiful thing I love about this compensation plan is for the most part, it pretty much fits on one page. Now I am going to show you some other slides, some other things in here with this presentation so you can fully understand it. I'm going to break down some of these. I'm going to show you the graphs and the grids so you can see visually how it works versus just, what's black and white on paper right here. Okay. So again, your overrides, your monthly residuals get paid down to infinity. So unlike a matrix, if there's holes and you can kind of get, gypped out of, if someone goes beyond your matrix, beyond your 13th level or 16th level or whatever it is that's in your matrix, you wouldn't get residuals on those people every single month. That you would lose on that. That's, called a compensation plan gotcha or a hole. Now, this compensation plan doesn't have any holes. It doesn't have any gotchas like that, where even though it's a unilevel, that unilevel literally goes out as far as you want it to. Okay. So understand that you get paid to infinity. So whether someone cancels in between somebody or someone else, it doesn't matter. You're still going to get paid on everyone. Okay. So how do you rank up? Well, there's three main ranks, and I'm going to go over these: gold, platinum, infinity, and I'm going to break these down for you. Okay. Now, how do you get to gold? And again, I'll show you this a little more in depth. How do you get to gold? Well, you need two people on your personally sponsored, right? Or two people on your team, right? Platinum, you need 10 people personally sponsored or 10 people on your team, right? And infinity, 38 people sponsored or just 38 people on your team. And you just need a minimum of 2 personally sponsored people. So pretty straightforward. There's no crazy requirements where if you, as an example, you want to get to diamond, level. I've seen these in other compensation plans. You have to personally sponsor 100 people. Well, most people barely sponsor one person in their network marketing career, never mind 100 people. So I think this is very reasonable. It's very reasonable for the average person. I think this compensation plan was very much designed for the average everyday person coming in, utilizing the product and services, being part of a great compensation plan, and not having to go out and personally recruit a whole ton of people. So even to make it to one of the top ranks in the company, just 38 people on your team, which is absolutely incredible. Once you get to the level of infinity, that's when the compensation plan opens up and you can get paid down to infinity. Okay. So let's jump into some of the other slides here so you can see how this works. Now, there is more commissions. Let's go back to line number 1 here and talk about that one for a second. There's more commissions available right now because there's currently a 6-month promotion. So let's talk about that. So myEcon just hit their 20-year anniversary. Okay, so they did something that's pretty big, pretty epic. Is they're tacking on an additional $7.50 to every single direct commission. Doesn't matter what level they come in at. Whether it's at the $24.99 level or the $44.95 level or the $99.95 level. When anyone joins any of those levels, you're going to get an additional $7.50 per person. And there's no cap on this. So I'm just going to open all of these up so you can see it for yourself. Okay. And there's no cap on that. So for the next 6 months, all the way through October, you can rank up as many direct commissions as you want. You're going to get an extra $7.50 per person. So now when you look at the percentages per person, per sale, per direct recruit that you get, it's going to go from 70% all the way up to 94.5, almost 95% direct commissions. So normally instead of, a $15 direct commissions, now it's $22.50. And again, I don't need to read each one of these. You can see them for yourself, but these are incredible percentages of direct commissions. And that's what myEcon wanted to celebrate. So instead of doing things like, hosting these big events and spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on events, they would rather give the money back to the field so they can pay out the field and pay them higher commissions. So just to understand, what the companies, what their interests are and what they're focusing on, it's paying you more money and they're making it as easy as possible to get to even the highest ranks in the company. It only takes 38 people, which is absolutely incredible. I've seen other compensation plans where you need, literally thousands of people to hit some of the top ranks. So they want more people to make more money. It's as simple as that. So you can see it right on your screen, what they're paying out for each direct recruit or direct commission. So pretty awesome. So now let me take you over to the graph so you can actually see, okay, if we went back to lines number 2 on your overrides and line number 3 on your monthly residuals, let's go take a look at what that looks like for you, just so you can visually see it and understand it for yourself. Okay, so this slide right here represents when your team grows. Okay, so you can see it down in the lower left-hand corner there. It says what you get the day that they join. So starting at 50 cents going all the way up to $10. Now, again, this pays down to infinity right there. So you can remember, if you want to get to the level of infinity, it only takes 38 people on your team. And then you're going to get between basically a $5 override and a $10 override anytime somebody joins on your team. Now, once you get from level 6 down through infinity, it goes down a little bit. But that's how they pay to infinity. And those little asterisks that you see right there, just so you know and understand that, that's when you have multiple infinities in one leg. Okay, you take a little bit of a haircut, but again, remember, having multiple infinities on your team, those are good problems to have. So instead of it being a $5 or a $10 override, it's going to be a $3.50 or $7 override. And again, paid down through infinity, which is absolutely incredible. So also means for you, whether you have 100 people on your team or you have 100,000 people on your team, if someone on your 57th level sponsors someone, you still earn a commission the day that happens, and you get paid the following Friday. So again, remember back to what I said in the beginning, 100% transactional compensation plan. You get paid every time a transaction happens. Okay. So now let's move on to your overrides. This is where the big money is made right here. This is the most powerful part of the myEcon compensation plan. And again, you can kind of decide here with all this data, what is the best compensation for you, for your team, for you making the most amount of money. And this is where it gets really, really powerful. So as a gold member, again, just takes 2 people. As a platinum member, it takes just 10 people. To get to infinity, it takes just 38 people. And to get to CEO, okay, so you might be wondering, hey, why is there a CEO filled in now where the previous slide there wasn't? Remember, these are your overrides. So the overrides for infinity and CEO are the same. Okay, that's why it's not filled in there. That's just for when the day that someone joins. This is for the monthly residuals. So again, this is where the bigger money is in the monthly residuals. And you can see when you get all the way up to CEO, which by the way takes just 200 people on your team. And in the world of compensation plans, that is very, very simple and much easier to do. I'm not saying that it's easy to do, but I'm saying it's easier to do than the average compensation plan. Okay. So what's really cool about this is you're going to average, okay, because the majority of your team is going to be on your first 5 levels. Okay. So let's just call it what it is. I've been with myEcon since 2018. I know, the size of my team and where most of the people are, and most of your people are in your first 5 levels. Okay. So you're going to average $9.50 to over $13 per person on your team. And, just to do some basic math here. Okay. So if I were to fill this in and, let's say you had 1,500 people on your team, you're going to be averaging between, let's just call it $9 and $12. We'll call it $11, right? Okay. If you had 1,500 people on your team times $11, okay, that's $16,500 per month that you'd be earning. Where if you had 1,500 people on, using other compensation plans, I'll just give you an example. One of the compensation plans I was recently reviewing here on my channel, 1,500 people times 2.5%, which that equates to 50 cents. Okay, that would be $750 per month that you'd be earning with another style of compensation plan. Okay, so $750 or $16,500. You choose, it's just basic math. And again, when you look at the asterisks over there in the lower right under Infinity and CEO, that's just when you have multiple infinities on your team down past your sixth level, you get paid a little bit less because obviously with a pay plan that goes to infinity, you can't get paid $13 all the way down to infinity because you just, when somebody renews for $60, $13 only goes so far. So the renewal per person gets a little bit lower the larger your team gets. But again, if you had 100,000 people on your team, that is a very good problem to have, and you would be making quite a bit of money. So let's talk about the big magic number now. Like when you look at this compensation plan, what would it take to get to $100,000 a month, six figures a month using this compensation plan? So if you take 100,000, right, and you divide that, let's take some averages here. So let's say you have a very, very large team, and we'll just use the averages down at the bottom. I'll go conservative. If you look between $6 and $8.40, somewhere in the middle, we'll just say $7.25. I'll just try to be as conservative as possible here. Okay. So if we took 100,000, divided that up, okay, you'd need 13,793 people on your team. So we'll just round that up to 14,000 people on your team, which again, in the world of compensation plans and network marketing, 14,000 people is incredibly doable. Okay. To get to six figures. Is it going to take a lot of work and effort and time and patience? Yes, of course. Of course. But if you want to know what the magic number is, it's about 14,000 people would get you to six figures per month with the myEcon compensation plan. And I would and again, that was going very, very conservative at about $7 per renewal, which realistically, knowing the numbers and knowing the data here, it would actually be a lot more than that. You'd probably be closer to $10 or $11 per person. But again, just to kind of keep things fair and keep things conservative, to give you an idea, if you hit about anywhere between 10 to 14,000 people on your team, you would be making six figures per month. Now compare that to other compensation plans that are out there on the market, and you'd have to do the math. How many people would you need to do that? So as an example, a compensation plan that I recently reviewed here on the channel, they had a 2x16 matrix. And if that 2x16 matrix was filled with zero holes, it was 131,000 people. And at a 50 cent, per residual per person, 131,000 people times 50 cents is $65,000 a month. So in that matrix, the maximum amount of money you could make is $65,000 a month. So if you ever wanted to get to six figures, you'd have to do some really crazy things inside of that compensation plan. I don't think it's possible. I don't think that compensation plan, anyone would ever make it to six figures. With this one, it's very much possible. And as a matter of fact, there's people in the company that are very close to six figures, maybe even at six figures per month, because again, the company's been around for 20 years. And I could tell you for sure that there's about 100,000 active reps in myEcon. So there are people that are at the top that are making incredibly significant income because this compensation plan pays to infinity. So there you have it, my friend. That is your myEcon compensation plan review. Hope you got value from this. Hope it makes a little more sense. You can decide for yourself, is this the best compensation plan on the market right now? If there's something better, if you feel that there's a better compensation plan out there, do me a favor, drop it in the comments down below and let me know your thoughts. But at the end of the day, I think the measuring stick here is, what is the average renewal per person per month? And what does that translate to as far as dollars? I have not seen, and I've reviewed several compensation plans, I have not seen a higher dollar per renewal per person out there in the world of network marketing. I haven't seen it. So if you find it, you let me know. Otherwise, if you made it to this point in the video, please do me a favor. Go ahead, smash that subscribe button. Also hit that bell icon so you get notified anytime I upload new content here to the channel. You, my friend, will be the first to know. If you need more information on myEcon, or maybe you're even looking to get started, links in the description down below, or I'll leave an end card right here at the end of this video. You can simply tap on that and go over and check out my overview and see how we give you, if you join my team, over $11,000 in free value just for getting started. It's literally everything you need to get out there and start promoting today. Sales funnels, email marketing, an app, all of those things is yours absolutely free just for getting started on our team. Appreciate you watching, my friend. I'll see you on the next one.